Good morning. It's 9 a.m. This is the Commissioners' meeting for the Village District of Eidelweiss. Today is Tuesday, April 7th. And so it's still 9. We will start with the approval of the, I'll make a motion that we start with the approval of the agenda.
Second.
Discussion? None? Okay, all approved?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Still 9 a.m. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of March 31st, 1 week ago today. Want to second that?
Discuss and approve.
Discuss and approve.
And then I'll second that.
Okay, make a motion that we discuss and approve the minutes of March 31st, 2026. Second?
She did.
Second.
She did.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. Okay,
Yes.
discussion?
For motions,
Yeah.
the motion itself should be in bold.
Okay, including the standard every week ones like we just did for agenda and the
Yes.
minutes?
Yes, the motions itself, the actual motion should be in bold.
Okay,
And the discussion is not in bold, but the vote is.
lost vote. Okay. All right. I mean, I knew that for when you have a novel or brand new motion, it has nothing to do with regular recurring business, but okay,
Yep.
not a problem.
Yep, any and all motions.
I'll take care of that, since I did up these minutes.
Oh, sorry.
Busy in this day. Okay, oh, well, all right, okay, he's here to tell us. Anything else?
No, that was all I had.
You
I
have anything?
have Jeff DiMartino spells it with a capital D, E, capital M
Okay, where is that? Where did I?
at the very top.
Oh, the very top.
The people in
Okay,
attendance.
so the M is capitalized, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just like I capitalized the N at the Niven part. Okay, very good.
I think Rock House, you use it as one word, but you capitalize both the R and the H. I think I've seen it where the H is small because I guess I'm not sure whether they separate rock and house.
Yeah, with me,
Okay.
it's sitting in the back home, I'm next to my phone.
I do not.
Where did we discuss it? That was under
That's in the
old business?
Under my report, second bullet.
Third bullet. Okay, all right, I'll look how they do that online.
Yeah, you may have duplicated to me because that's how they present their documentation that way.
Okay, I'll look that up. Whatever however they have it on their website, I'll duplicate that
Yep.
exactly.
Under old business, Hotwell is spelled with 2 T's.
Yeah, that always gets
Second
me.
bullet.
2 T's?
I
Okay.
know.
Hut,
You do.
Hutwell, okay. All right. Anything else?
That's what I have.
Okay, may I add something too? I know I wasn't at the meeting.
No, I know.
However, yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah.
You discussed the meeting drafts for the 24th. So can I?
So you're going back to the 24th?
Yes, I can be, because part of your meeting minutes on the 23rd talks about the amendments to the 24th meeting minutes,
Okay,
which stemmed from my draft of meeting minutes. Correct? Okay, am I able to proceed?
yeah, I'm not following, but I'll pick it up as you go.
I'd like to begin with the meeting that I was not present for, which was the meeting minutes we're discussing now, March 31st.
March 31st, yes.
So in my review of this meeting, specifically during the discussion of approving the March 24th drafts, these were modifications that were made, which is expected because they are labeled drafts. Those March 24th modifications have been completed by Wood and McNevin and then have since been approved and released to the public. I am informing the commissioners, viewers, residents, and homeowners of the Village District that these minutes are incorrect. I also advise that relevant topic of discussions were removed, specifically the motion made to no longer require commissioners to sign the request for reimbursement, a process that I understand and a requirement put in place long before my employment here. I first want to say it's my opinion to no longer require this form to be completed by the commissioners, but still requesting and requiring it of the other employees of the district, in my opinion, is discriminatory. Second, by removing the discussions regarding this topic, which you did, and they were included in my draft, contain a phrase of proof of purchase with any reimbursement being requested. That term was not made up. The term was in fact used by Wood and McNevin, and for Mark Graffam to indicate that that statement was never made or made up by me was completely wrong. This furthers my belief that this motion is discriminatory and displays a continuing manipulation and abuse of power by the commissioners. Mark Graffam additionally motions the second motion he made on March 24th to be reimbursed for purchases were manipulated by stating his motion included being reimbursed for the adapter. At no time did this motion on March 24th made by Mark Graffam mentioned an adapter. And to request that those minutes from March 24th be modified to include that statement is another display of gaslighting and manipulation. Another observation of the meeting held on March 31st also included a statement made by Nancy Cole indicating that there was a printed mention of the DRA form MS-232 listed on the operations manifest document. She provided no proof, nor did Marco Wood confirm the accuracy of that statement. This statement is an example of what continues to occur at these meetings to imply that I am not fulfilling my duties as a district administrator and that I am making mistakes. These are many examples of including accusations that are made weekly that I'm not forwarding emails or supplying documents to the commissioners. Even when I advise you that those emails and documents were sent, you continue to try to manipulate the audience and viewers that I have not. I now have routinely been excused and dismissed from non-public sessions and not included in any resumed public sessions. A number of these sessions have not yet produced meeting minutes. The office and public are still awaiting those non-public minutes, especially from February 10th, March 11th, and now March 24th. There is a consistent highlighting of mistakes that are made publicly, even when those claims are inaccurate and are indeed false. Mark Graffam has attempted to use past weekly manifests to imply continued mistakes by me. Any issues relating to those past manifests were already addressed and, if applicable, were rectified. One must question his motives for continuing this behavior. There have been many months and more of this type of behavior from these commissioners, particularly Mark Graffam. The accusations, manipulation, and gaslighting that continues at these meetings is a clear indication of mental warfare and retaliation, and has now created an intolerable atmosphere for me to continue to attend these meetings. Why are you looking at me like that? You know what's going on. We've talked many times about it. I've expressed my feelings both to Woody and Nancy, and nothing has been done to date. In fact, the behavior of this commissioner gets worse on a weekly basis. For 2 months now, I have been under the threat of disciplinary action. 2 months, of which continues to remain unclear and to date has not been provided. This threat, among the issues that I've just described, continues to cause me great emotional stress. I also want to mention that my annual review has come and gone. For the sake of my health and well-being, I will no longer be attending these commissioner meetings. nor would I should be expected to complete meeting minutes that I do not attend. I can't continue my other duties as administrator for the foreseen future at the office, but I can no longer endure the toxicity and manipulation and gaslighting that occurs at these meetings weekly. It's intolerable. Some issues occurred with prior commissioners going back to 2023 and continued into 2024. It is my realization that the cause stems from one individual commissioner. He restricts, dissuades, and the other two commissioners to act fairly and unbiasedly. The other two commissioners have now become compliant in every statement Mark Graffa makes, and it is clear that they are intimidated by him. Considering my prior request to have any disciplinary action against me made as a public meeting, which you know, because you're the one that brought it up, thankfully, I ask, are the commissioners ready to impose such disciplinary action? That's a question.
Given us a lot to digest here.
I agree.
Okay, and I can't agree with everything you're saying. You may have a viewpoint.
Of course you wouldn't.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to continue. Are there any other disciplinary actions that you would like to take at this time, since it's public and recorded? Anyone?
The commissioners have not taken any disciplinary action against you.
Do you wish to take disciplinary action?
Should something
impose
happen
that
in the
right now.
future, we may choose that.
Okay, very
But
good.
right now, we have not taken any
Okay,
action.
so I uphold my request for any disciplinary action to come today, the future, however long, whether it be made to be conducted, again, as my request, as a public meeting, recorded by Madison TV, if at all possible, and if not, I request that I record that meeting myself and have a witness. I'm done, thank you. Here's that. Here's, you can have the notebook to take notes for the meeting. I can no longer endure this. I don't know if you want that. Okay. Have a good day.
Is that a resignation?
You know, you're
No,
leaving.
I did not give my resignation.
But you're leaving
I am
your job.
dismissing myself from these commissioner meetings.
That is part of your job.
Well, then you'll have to fire
So
me.
the question is,
I
are
already
you
asked you
resigning?
if you were taking disciplinary action. I am not resigning, but I can no longer endure these meetings.
But it's part of your job. That's
Are you,
Correct.
are you taking disciplinary action against me? I
We
am
said
not,
not at this
I am
time.
not resigning.
We've already answered at this
Okay,
this
then,
point, this
then
time.
I am dismissing myself from these meetings.
you don't have that right.
Yes, I do.
No,
Yes,
you
I
do
most
not.
certainly do. Then are you going to
It
fire
is
me?
part of your job, Jennifer.
Then are you going to fire me? I am I can't take, and this is insane. What you put me through at these meetings, especially you, is intolerable. Nobody could go through this. No one. No one, and I can't do it. I am happy to do my job as administrator.
Okay,
Carrying on
you're
tomorrow.
dismissing yourself. We have a meeting to have, so.
Thank
we'll
you.
Talk to you
Yeah.
later.
Shouldn't be going to the office.
Any discussion this would have to be in
Let-
non-public session,
yeah,
and
let's do it.
she's
Right.
asked
All right.
to make it public, so she's not here. That's a dilemma.
Okay,
It is.
so I think we're gonna have to call for a non-public at the end of this meeting. Right? I mean,
As
we-
long as
we-
we're not gonna discuss disciplinary action, because that's the dilemma, is that she's already requested that any discussion is public,
Yeah,
so she has to be here. She just took herself out.
Right?
Okay,
So she has removed herself from the option of being present for the non-public session.
all right.
That's her choice.
Yeah, I don't know what the proper way to proceed. I mean, we were just faced with something that was totally unexpected this morning.
And I disagree with 90% of everything she just said.
Oh yeah, so do I. That's not the issue. The issue is now how are we going to respond?
I
And I
think
think what you're telling me is we can't respond at all unless it's in a public session.
my suggestion is that we talk to legal counsel and show this video
Okay,
and let the council know that we have committed to public session for what would be a non-public session, and get the answer is that this crossed over from what the board should decide themselves.
yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, just obviously the biggest issue I thought was walking out on what is clearly part of the job. All
Yes.
right.
Yes, that is definitely a big
Yes.
part.
Okay, all right. All right, let me let me get back on track here after that.
And you thought it was you.
All right. So, we were back on the minutes of the 31st, and I think I've got all the motions that need to be changed, everything that needs to be corrected on this. So, do we approve these minutes with the discussed amendments?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3-0. All right, it is now 9:17. We'll discuss the operations and water manifest.
Second.
Make a motion to discuss, approve and discuss. Mark seconds. All right, the operating manifest, the grand total is $2,800, $2,803.78. Mostly smaller stuff. Some more work on the Dodge, the 2018 Dodge Ram 5500, $616. Eversource bill, that's probably the lion's share of it. All combined comes up to about $1,300. And then there was Eastern Fuel for $483.81. That was for 105.6 gallons of diesel, which is right now at $4.58.
Actually, that bill was.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
now
over
Probably
five
up higher
now.
than that.
it could be higher now.
It is higher.
And it seems to me that price isn't really all that much lower than what you'd see for anybody with a regular diesel vehicle on the road. So,
What do you mean?
well, I'm just saying, this is Eastern Fuel. This is not the, don't we get fuel also from a?
The state
The
shed.
state.
State shed, yeah. Okay, so never mind. It's comparable to what any driver would see on the road. Like you said, it's probably higher now. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. All right, any further discussion on the operating manifest? Okay.
Yes.
Approve?
Yes.
Aye.
3-0. All right, now we'll move on to the water manifest. Grand total there is $1,558.33, and the entirety of that bill was for electric to Eversource. Any discussion? All approved?
How about make a motion?
Motion is second
Oh.
to discuss and
Okay.
approve.
I'll make a
Nancy
motion to
seconds.
discuss these, sorry.
Second?
I'm still.
I
voting
vote
off.
yes. You vote yes.
Mhm.
3-0
Okay.
at 9:19.
Okay. All right, so the operating, okay, so it's now 9:19. I'm gonna make a motion that we, jump ahead of,
Book.
of the DPW report, if it's okay with you, Jeff.
Yeah.
So Ian could talk, because we were not expecting you here today. I'm assuming you're here because of the Lugano issue?
No, I thought I was expected here today. Jeez.
Oh, you know something? You're right, because this is the,
Yeah, if you don't want me, I am out. No, I'm just kidding. There are a couple things we should go
Today's
over
the
real
first
quick.
Monday of the month.
Yeah.
He's been out of there.
oh, I thought it was the
We've
second.
had him out of the rotation of first Monday of the month.
Right, and we
got off
had
'cause
you
of the
so
annual meeting.
recently. We had
Yeah,
you so recently.
I thought we had a request
You're
to
on,
be here. at least
your name's on the agenda, so.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Excellent. Well, I'm here, so you can do Jeff first. It's fine.
Okay, let's do Jeff
Even
first.
though-
I thought you were here specifically because of the Lugano issue.
Nope.
Because that cropped up not only with us inspecting it last week, and then what recently happened at.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I got
okay.
a couple things to go over.
All right.
Yeah.
So all right. So it's 9:21. We're going to move on to the DPW report from Jeff.
All right. So we got a few things to talk about. I did get the pricing on the magnesium and the calcium chloride, and it's about 2 cents difference. The magnesium is 173 a gallon, and the calcium chloride is 175 a gallon. So some things we can consider. Again, we're not in a position to buy any right now because we do have quite a bit in the tank to get started for the season, but I did get those prices for us the other day.
Okay.
We'll jump right into 23 Hutwell, I guess. You want to do that?
Driveway. Yep.
That driveway there on the unpermitted culvert pipe. We did some checking with the transit yesterday, and we did come up with a few things that are interesting that would work out, I think, to get that culvert pipe put in better. Again, the homeowner had to put it in under kind of unideal situations with the winter and accessing that drive to do what he needed to do, and it worked out for that. But I mean, it should be put in properly, embedded in 3 to 4 inches of some crushed stone. The outlet end of that culvert is right where it should be. It's the inlet end that needs to be readdressed, which as we were all looking at it, could all see there. Obviously, to do that, you're gonna have to pull the whole pipe's got to be pulled out and then redug and then reset. Like I said, in the stone, the inlet end could be lowered about 6 to 7 inches. So that's what we came up with that.
Okay.
So we have to get in contact with either the new owner or the contractor. It seems to be related to the realtor that sold the house. I don't even know who we need to talk to about this. I guess it's the new owner.
Yeah. I mean, here is the driveway inspection report with a name and a number.
Do we know if that's the former owner who was the guy who was flipping the house, or?
Yeah, see that I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think it's the current owner. The house has not changed hands yet.
Right, they haven't had
It's
a
under
closing, so
contract,
it's under
but it has
contract.
not changed, so it would be the current owner
Right, I'm gonna assume
that I
this
believe
is
is listed
the
there.
person we spoke to back when we had to have the culvert put in back in February or something,
Yeah.
or January, whenever it was. Be my assumption, but we know how that goes.
Yeah.
So we're also talking about having the driveway get the water to the right side and drain into the ditch, not come down over the driveway.
Right, yeah, there was some.
So it's lowering the input, as Jeff was saying, and putting stone under taking the culvert out, putting 6 to 7 inches of the rock underneath it, 3/4 inch.
Yes, yeah, embed that culvert, so they're gonna have to go down deeper than it is, and then, embed that with some stone to get it to the height. The height where the outlet end of that culvert is right where it should be. But the inlet end is too high, and which makes the whole pipe kind of up until that outlet end need to be replaced. And then if they reshape the driveway to try to shed the water to the right-hand side of the drive, looking up towards the house, would be ideal. As far as permitting that driveway to make it a permanent drive, to get the water to not run out into the road.
So we need to contact the name on that. There's a telephone number there too?
Yeah, would you guys like this? I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll call if you guys want, set up a meeting at the site with them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably only, if we can meet with them in person, is probably the best way to convey that information.
So then on the 39 hot well that we, where the water was running out into the road, we were able to ungag that pipe, that culvert, and get that water to flow and get that redirected. I mean, again, that's an old, metal pipe in the driveway there that obviously has been failing because you could see the sinkhole there that we all saw. We were able to, like I said, bust through that with a long pipe, a long stick or something to get that flowing, and it is flowing for now. But
You didn't have to drill it?
No,
Oh.
we stuck the drill in there and could tell we were hitting something that wasn't ice. So we had a long pole and we started
Ramming it?
ramming it with that, and all of a sudden you could hear it start gurgling and water started coming out, and then she just blew open.
So it's just debris in there.
Yeah, well, the gravel,
Well, where the hole
the
was.
sinkhole that dropped through all
Oh,
the
right,
gravel.
right, yeah.
What again, Tony, being Tony and been around this for a long time, if you paced it off, that was right around 20 feet. So there was
Right
probably
where
a
they
metal
turned.
collar on the metal pipe, which the collars typically always rot out before the pipe. The bottom of the pipes rot out, and then the collars rot out. And yeah, I mean, so that culvert is in bad shape, but it passed the water that it needed to get it out of the road. And the other one there, that's 63, that
So we need to contact that owner too.
I believe he was 63 or 39.
63.
63.
I believe they dug what was in the inlet end of that culvert out, but I mean the sand is still kind of right on the edge of the road, right on in the ditch line there. I'm thinking he's going to be moving it soon, but I don't know where the conversation went with that. I think the office had contacted him
Oh,
about moving the sand. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there needs to be a phone call to him as well. I don't know them as well.
Okay, so we've moved to 63.
Yes, that was 63.
Okay, my question with 63, was the driveway itself regraded?
No,
No.
there was just a pile of sand down at the end of the driveway into the ditch
Oh, okay.
that I noticed. That was clogging up the culvert there that crosses the driveway, which goes into another hole which crosses the road from there.
Yeah, because one of the changes to the driveway ordinance that was made last year was that if somebody's regrading, they now need a permit. Whereas in
Right.
prior years, they were allowed to do that without a permit. So that's where my question's coming
Right.
from is, did they do more and how did that sand get there?
Yeah, see that they had, from what I could see, I haven't seen any regrading of the drive.
Okay.
There's material, which the sand, so it looks like just sand down the bottom of the driveway. I don't know what that's going to be used for or anything like that. I have no idea. It just seemed to be in a weird spot to me. And like I said, it was in the ditch line, filling up the culvert.
But it's been moved now? Or it's still sitting there?
They dug the culvert out, but the sand's still sitting there. So I mean, rain is going to wash that sand down into the culvert, and then again, you know what I mean? It's just going to keep eroding down in there with where it's sitting. I think.
so what do we need to do for number 63?
I think,
These aren't the only three that are
No,
problems.
they're-
Even the
they're-
driveways between these, we have
Right.
problems with,
Yeah.
which is the biggest subject that we have to change our mode.
Mhm.
Last year, you spent a lot of time tweaking the language of the ordinance,
Yes.
and that didn't get us, that was good, because the ordinance got straightened out. It's snowing. So now we have to decide how we're gonna go after getting all of these driveways that damage the road fixed. And there's a lot of them, as you know, from all the driveways you saw last
Mhm.
year. It's gonna be a huge undertaking, but it's making up for 20 years
Yeah.
of not implementing driveway ordinances correctly. So what do we do with 63?
I think they need to be contacted again, that, we saw that you got the sand out of the way of the culvert, but it still doesn't solve the problem completely, because there's sand still in the ditch. That
Yeah.
with heavy rains is just gonna flow
Right.
back in and clog up the culvert. So it still needs to be moved.
So we need to call the owner of 63 and say, we moved the sand from being anywhere near our ditch.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a call or do we want to send a letter? Either a
Well,
letter or possibly an email.
It sounds like there's already been a call made.
There was some kind of
Yeah, there was a call made.
communication.
So the fastest way is to make another call, I think.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I think anything that we want acted on in a timely manner merits a phone call.
I'll have to get that number somehow.
Okay?
But yeah, so we just I got some shirts for the guys. I ordered some shirts. I don't know if that bill was on the manifest or not. I don't know if that had come into the office. Might have been last week or something. I'm not sure. But that, and I know that the ordinance, the pond ordinance there, we got to put a board in by April 10th. So I'm on that. The level's high, and we're getting a little rain here and there, and this and that, and just but we'll put that board in by Friday, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at it the other day. It's a little over the concrete riser. Not a lot.
Yeah, she could.
Couple of inches.
Yeah, she could 4 inches, I think, over the concrete.
There seems to be a sign that was placed away from the dam that is
Pushed up
moved
against
right
it.
up against where the measuring tool
Yeah,
is mounted.
that's it there. I couldn't see the exact measurement there, but.
Because it's restricted.
Right.
That's what
Yeah,
the sign says on
That's
it.
what the sign says.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
look like 4 inches. I got the impression it was like 2 inches over the concrete riser, but maybe that was a couple days ago.
Yeah, we got the rain over
It's
the
at least
weekend.
2.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
It's up there. But no, so we're on board with that. And yeah, we'll get ready for what happens here.
I have a question for you, if you're all set with the dam. He doesn't have to wait till the 11th to do it either. If you
No, we could put it in.
If
the
you have
next
good
day or two.
conditions and you
Right.
want to do it,
Yeah,
get it done if you want.
yeah.
There were 2 hockey nets on the ice all
Yeah.
winter that a lot of people used, and those belong to Brandon on Little Shore.
Yeah.
And I asked if he would like us to store those, seeing how he lets the public use them. And I thought I would ask him first, and they'd have to be outside. He was fine with that. Is there a good place at DPW 2 where we could store those nets until next winter, make that a regular thing?
I'm sure we could put them behind the salt shed somewhere if that's all right with you guys. I don't know. I could keep them out of my way. I don't have a problem with that.
Are you okay with that
Yeah,
idea?
yeah, yeah.
I guess they would remain his property, and we are just, I think with the help of the EPOA, just storing them. Do you think we can get them down there, off the beach, if I dragged them up to the edge of the road, coordinated with, does Willie have a truck?
Guy has a truck. He's not an EPOA, but he might join. And I have a trailer.
Do you think we could do it,
Yeah.
because they used to have the Sanders on, I'd like to get them off.
Yeah, I mean, I put them in the bucket of the backhoe. If you guys didn't mind me grabbing them, I mean, you know.
That sound good to you?
Yeah?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, that's good.
You know, I got no problem. I don't have to move a rock. I can just drive the back
Right,
down there.
lift them over the
We
rock
could
and put
carry
them
them
right in
over
the
there. They're
bucket.
not all that heavy, I'm sure, and just put them in the bucket of the backhoe and drive them around back there. I mean, that works for me.
So I'll pull them up to the,
Oh, we'll get them.
okay.
Yeah, we could get them.
I'm just curious, when they're on the ice, are they like anchored with a spike or
No.
something? How,
No.
they just sit there?
They put them up against the snowbank at the back.
Okay, just wondering how they anchor them, okay.
You can't Bobby or around the net.
Because you said they were pretty, yeah.
Maybe next year.
Right.
So, you said they were pretty light, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, you don't want them moving around on the ice when you've got people playing, but okay, I see what they do, all right.
Yeah, that's no problem. So, yeah, I think that's the, oh, wait. Oh, and again, you know, even after that, we checked the Grism pipe after those heavy rain. Well, it was pretty heavy rains over the weekend. Came down pretty good. I think we
Yeah.
got almost 2 inches of rain.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised, and it wasn't as high as I thought it would be because of that. The the ground must have really absorbed some of that rain, which is a good thing. We need it. But yeah, that pipe is still flowing really smooth.
The maps show that we're still in severe drought.
Yeah,
The water has not been able to go into the ground, so
right.
we need,
We need the rain, absolutely.
not that it affects our DPW1 well, which is a beautiful thing.
Right. But you know, everything's working like it should. You know, a few spots where we had to, you know, the leaves are a big issue, you know, and I do have the backhoe over there with them looking at that to see what they could rectify on that blower. I'm gonna have to go over there now and see and get the backhoe back with the weather coming, but see what they came up with, if they had come up with something. But yeah, I had to redirect some water here and there from the rains, but I'm pleasantly surprised with the roads. I talked with Madison, and you know, they're thinking of lifting some of the bans off of some of the roads by Friday. I don't know about the dirt roads, but maybe some of the back paved roads here and there. But yeah, I know they're lifting them down the Lakes region this week as well. So I mean, it's if it all keeps going the way it is, it's going to be coming.
Buying a supply of culverts. That's gonna take you some time.
I put a list out with probably close to a dozen maybe on there that I sent in this morning. You guys probably didn't get a chance to get that at this point, but
Was that in your,
no, it was
It's separate?
separate to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is, you know, those ones on Hotwell and stuff like that, and there was a couple West Bergamo, Eidelweiss, and there was a few other ones on there. So there is a list there that's got quite a few on there, and I'll keep giving those a look there.
Okay. Then, I think I saw this on your report, but I did see the quote from Jordan Equipment Company for the blades, carbide blades.
Yeah, he just happened to stop by out of nowhere the other day and was telling us how I know that the mow board on the grader, the cutting edge, you know, we've had that on there for quite a while. That's a carbide edge that's lasted several years, which has been awesome. So we did ask him what they were going for nowadays, and he said huge money, like $5,000, and I'm like, whoa. I think we paid like $1,200 or $1,500 for those a few years back, and he gave us some story about carbide and somebody bought out the market on it and this and that, and the price has gone through the roof and all this. He said he had a set of blades that at the shop still, but trying to get one, and that was the quote he sent in for that set that he's got there, and
So
Yeah.
$3,422.
yeah,
And this is for the grader,
This is for the mow board of the grader, yeah.
and
Now, they make other blades that may not be quite as expensive, that aren't carbide, that do wear out fairly quick. The more you grade, the more they're gonna wear out. It's like sandpaper, you know, those blades get run down. We've had good success with these carbide blades. But yeah, I guess like everything else, things are just going through the roof.
what, the current blades on the grader, what sort of life expectancy do you have for those?
Tony thinks half the season, depends again how much laying out of gravel and grading that we're gonna be doing, ditching and stuff.
So half this upcoming season, all the work we're gonna do on the roads?
Yeah.
Okay. And your guys' druthers is to go with carbide blades versus some other kind of steel?
Yeah. Yeah, the life has just been more than twice as long, I mean. So
And
it's-
is this estimate, is basically saying these are a couple that are hanging around that he can let go for this price, and then if we were to wait several months till we really need them, it could be.
It may
whole
be
new-
more, that's what he was saying, yeah.
It's not like these are in stock or.
No, that's just one guy, there's other outfits that we bought these things from that I could check into.
Okay. Yeah, I personally am a little hesitant to make a motion to purchase these things unless we've done a little.
Yeah, and it wasn't
shopping
like I
around.
had that
Okay,
set to
okay.
make a decision on purchasing them at the moment.
Right, but I bring it up because I heard you guys talking about blades when we were doing the Hutwell inspection the other day, and
Right.
it's like, all right.
Yeah, and he had just happened to show up right before we
Yeah.
went out there, you know, and was saying this type of stuff. So.
Okay, all right.
So we got this quote because he happened to show up and the conversation went that way.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be the game for everything that we buy, which
Yes.
is part of what I wanted to talk about during my report, is that our timing was that the meeting we had for the annual meeting was March 7th, a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
The United States started bombing Iran the Saturday before. We went to that meeting and no one was discussing the impacts of that conflict and inflation and how it was going to affect our budget. Matter of fact, on the floor, we proposed lowering the operating budget
Yes.
because that's the information we had at the time.
Diesel $6 a gallon.
Right.
Diesel, yes, and we heard the story of the market for carbide anything, and that's not the only thing we buy carbide blades for.
No.
A lot of the minerals come to that, it's not just oil.
Right.
One cool woman in a black dress.
The Hollies.
Yep.
Yes.
Hollies.
So I want to talk about that, is that we have to change the way we're doing this thing because we have to be prepared for the basics eating up more of our budget than we could imagine right now.
Right.
It's like, this could be historic.
It's literally like when that goes up, everything goes up.
Yes. Anything that's petroleum based, asphalt, anything. Okay.
What do you think about carbide, this offer?
Well, I definitely think we should look and see if there's other vendors that, see what kind of prices they're at.
Do you want to
I know
call
we're gonna need them.
a couple of other vendors, seeing how you've shopped
Yeah,
before?
yeah. He's Jordan. So I could call Allied.
And then next week, based on what you find out, we'll make a decision.
Yeah.
7 days could be radical.
Right. Right. Yeah, I could do that.
Willie Newtile was telling a carbide story just last week. That's what you're recalling? Where he was saying the Chinese
Yeah.
are controlling the
The
carbide market.
hammers and yeah, this
Drill
guy.
bits.
What's that?
Literally everything.
Everything. Yeah.
What else for Jeff?
Just looking over what's coming up this week. Everything. No, everything looks good. Oh, any. That was last week. What was the status on the blower?
Well, that's, again, it's still over there. I went in late last week on the Friday, and then they were looking at it yesterday, and I'm gonna head over there today and kind of get a better idea of what's going on with that.
They still have a backhoe too, or just the blower?
Yeah, they have both, and yeah, so they could run it and see what's going down.
So that's over at Albany Service?
Yeah. And what they came up with or didn't come up with at this point, I'm gonna bring it back so I have it, you know, at my disposal for anything Mother Nature might do. At this point.
Okay. And just quick look. Yep, okay. I'm good, I don't have anything more.
We need to have the discussions about culvert driveways. I'm thinking that if we have all kinds of situations. If there's a new driveway going in and the road has never been ditched, we have those situations. And the driveway's uphill from, I almost think, I want you to think about this, is that we have to ditch that before we specify how they put the driveway in. Because they're gonna put the driveway in, we might say they don't need a culvert. That's one of the faults that the village has been doing for years now. Then we find out that if we ditch that properly, we do need a culvert. I think that happened on Bergdorf last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we actually have to, if we get an application for a driveway in this, we have to go look at it. Before we respond to it, we need you to meet with you guys every time. If we see that there's no ditch line and there could be a ditch line, I think that has to go in before we tell them how to put the driveway in. So they're,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of stuff. So this is the year we straighten out, we begin to straighten out. If we're going after the drainage the way we plan to go after it, then we all agree, have for a while, that driveways are a huge part of this.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's amazing, you drive along Eidelweiss and be in front of every driveway that slopes down, and if they don't have the proper grade, it's just like, there's potholes of various sizes, or just, you know, little puddles, and it's awful.
I've
So, yeah.
noticed that depending upon the speed that vehicles drive by those driveways, the potholes may not be right at the mouth of the driveway, but they'll be a little further down because the vehicles are doing that. They're carrying the water and the torque of the tires coming through there. It's a study.
Yeah.
I'm all set.
Okay, I would like to propose that before Jeff leaves and jump ahead of Commissioner's report, that Ian right now and us and Jeff just focus on the Lugano issue.
Okay.
Just, because that's a big one coming up. And then Jeff can go, and then we'll do our
Perfect.
Commissioner reports and then get into everything else water-related except for Lugano, if that's okay. Because we were
Works
there,
for me.
we were there on Friday with Willie Newtile and
Is Willie who's going to be doing the ledge?
Yes.
Okay.
and he was convinced that you know, if you're at the top of Lugano looking down toward Eidelweiss, he was pretty convinced the water main was to the right side of the road. And then we came to the question is,
I think it is.
does the water main actually dead end there somewhere, as opposed to going straight down to the water main on Eidelweiss?
I would go 99% that we have an interconnect between Appinville. Is Appinville up there?
Yes.
At the top.
Appinville and Eidelweiss drive through Lugano. I'm trying to, I'd have to go in the memory banks a little deeper on when we've done shutdowns more recently and what it took, you know, if that interconnect was an issue, if we had to shut off there at Lugano. But as far as we've ever known, that is an interconnect there, so it is a solid piece of main going up between. We, of course, I don't have this readily available right at the moment, but we did dig to the water main, find the water main last summer, so we do have documentation of where that main is in the road. I would say it's about,
You found a 2-inch main?
yep,
On Lugano?
yeah, we located the main, we started digging back to,
Okay, because the cut didn't go straight across the road to where the affected house is, that house on the corner that has the funky service
There's
line.
a cut on the opposite side of the road
Yeah.
that they made it 2/3 of the way across the road,
Right.
but didn't go all the way to the
no,
house.
so that's what I was gonna say.
That's
is
where you
I think
found the
main
2-inch.
is about 2/3 of the way across the road is exactly where I was gonna say, I think it is.
You stopped where you saw the main.
Yes.
You saw that it was ledge or boulder.
So it's, as far as we could tell, ledge. There was, let me see, actually, I can find the lease.
So if Willie was right and the water main is coming down the side of the road he suspects, it sounds like at some point it hit ledge, made a left turn, and then went back down to where you found it. Something like that.
Boy, I'm not,
No,
No?
I'm not picturing it that way.
let me see.
If you're at
what
the
I
bottom
got.
of the hill looking up,
Yeah.
the water main's on the left side, 2/3 of the way over to the left side, or 1/3 of the way from the house in question.
Okay.
In between that short strip, what I'm understanding from Ian is there's ledge, which is why they didn't use the main to connect that house
Yes.
in the 70s. They ran that 1-inch main up from Eidelweiss Drive, and that's what we're trying to fix. The other thing I had wrong is I thought there was also a leak at that house, but it was just frozen, I guess. Lugano house, just frozen, not leaking.
Okay, so Willie thinks that the water main was coming down, if you're looking down from the top Appendale,
Yeah,
it'd be on the right-hand side of the road.
Right.
But at some point, Ian found the water main closer to the left-hand side of the road, opposite.
See if
no,
I
he
can
dug
find anything
across
with the
from
main.
this side over. 2/3 of the way over, he saw the main. It was
Okay.
on this side.
Oh, on this, okay, all right.
So the main was about 4 feet deep. I don't have in these pictures but this is his. Like they actually got on the water main, and then they started trenching.
Let me see that picture again.
This is just of the main right there.
It's blue, black.
Gray probably. Schedule
Gray.
80 PVC
Okay.
would be my. He might have a note on it. As it carries across, they immediately hit ledge, which was sloping up towards. So the maximum depth they had was 4 feet, and as they got about 6-8 feet away from it, it was already up to like 2.5 feet as it was traveling towards the driveway.
So you want to start it. You're going to connect to that pipe at 4 feet, but you want to go down.
We'll go
and
down,
set the curb stop
insulate
down
it.
lower.
You got it.
And he still has a decision to make as to whether he wants you to fix
Yeah.
the service line.
So, and that's something I talked to John about the other day. You know, I mean, while we're there, if they would like, we can dig the line, you know, replace the line to his property as well. Entirely up to him. As far as we don't really know exactly. Of course, we're all happy that thawed, but we still don't know which end it was on. So, and he's aware of that there's still some inherent risk that if we fix our end, great, district's covered, from curb valve to home is still a unknown commodity. We know that the curb valve is shallow. We know it's right at the culvert. It's going to be a bit of a fun thing, no matter how you dice it. I'll get together with Jeffy and everything else on that. We'll figure out the culverting over there. But the, you know, so that's a decision he can make. I guess it's not really it is what it is. If he deals with consequences, you know, if he doesn't do it and there's an issue, we'll know from our end that we've done what we can do. So
We met, as Woodard was saying, we met with Willie Newtile, Black Dog Excavating in Hardscape in Freedom.
okay,
He's going to bring in, he's got 3 sizes of excavators. He's got a full-size cat. He's got a mid-range and a smaller one. He wants to bring in the mid-range one that he's got rubber mountings on the tread so that it doesn't rip up.
pavement and everything.
And the conversation was the leverage that a full-size excavator has with a larger hammer versus a lighter weight one, but it's not down to the smaller range. I'm picturing his mid-range one's a little larger than your machine.
I imagine it's probably a
310, did he say?
4,000. I'm a 10,000 pound. He's probably a 13 or 14,000.
I think he said 14.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty standard.
I think the
size.
model number was a 311 cat.
Yeah, 311.
So that's probably right around there, and it does. I mean, the thing you really what it comes down to is what they're gonna be able to get away with is how close and tightly packed is that ledge on the main, which I don't think it was actually sitting on it, which is good because as you're hammering, that vibration can cause problems. They're looking for fissures in the main, right? So you're looking for is it like a solid piece of, you know, granite 8 feet long that they're literally gonna have to dust as they're doing it because it's like that's all you can get away with, or is there some fracture in it that they can get a hammer into and plate off these, you know, chunks of ledge? And it's like, unfortunately, we can't blast when there's, you know, even a minor blast you can't do because it's just too risky on the pipe. So yeah, it's gonna be a process, and he'll have to just see which thing works best for him and see how big of a can of worms it is. It's a
Willie does work around water mains.
Good.
He does water hookups
and we'll be all prepped for it. I mean, listen, anytime you get into something like this, there's always the inevitable. It might even be easier to shut that main down, cut out, and just say, do what you gotta do, and then fix it after he's done. Might honestly just be, we have a couple houses we could even temporarily feed while we're doing the work, so we could just say, don't even worry about it, we'll cut that out to take away the risk and do your thing. And so we'll see what he gets into and how, if he has to end up getting bigger equipment and really hammering hard on it, that might be the
So
move.
to start, he's gonna bring in his mid-size with both the hammer and the bucket.
Perfect.
So if it makes sense to you, we'll start with him, and one of you guys can be there all the time while this is going on and making water operated decisions as he does.
100%. Yeah, I mean, if he's already got equipment there doing it, there's no reason for us to. If he's able to just switch back and forth between his equipment and do his thing, we'll just work with him as you know, doing the job. That's totally fine.
And we'll coordinate Jeff and crew to assist with trucks and fill and so forth.
Yeah, hauling anything.
Yeah. That's
Willie's already of the school that says you put the same material back in the hole that you took out for
The
pitch
road.
reasons. Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, we shouldn't have to be worrying too much about water at that point. So it's, you know, we shouldn't have to haul off much material, hopefully. But that's the biggest concern usually, is if you got wet material, you can't really put it back in. So we'll see what we'll see what we get over there. Is there some idea timetable on this?
Well, that's what we can decide right now with you.
I know we would probably love to wait a few weeks, kind of like early May would be the best time for us to be available for it. I think just road conditions too anyway, things will be dried up. We won't be having any, I mean, we should be done kind of through melt off by mid-April, you know, third week in April, but just to kind of let things kind of fully dry out, get our ducks in a row on it, make sure I can have somebody there and dealing with, you know, whatever's going on. I think anytime that.
Can I push to say we're going to start the last week in April? Because we're going to have Willie do lots of other work for us starting May.
I would say absolutely, other than I personally won't, I'm actually gonna be away for the last week of April. That's a part of, I would say that, but other than not being available
We
myself.
discussed the first full week in May, which starts like May 3rd, I think, is like Monday.
May
Right, that's
3rd
what
is
I'm-
the Monday.
what
I'm hoping if
If we said that,
Lugano's doesn't hold water,
You know,
because the slope is, it's not like we're going into the ground,
No.
I'm going to hit groundwater on it.
but I do, you know, I got Noah that's already on, like, you know, I would want myself or Noah there, and it just kind of, if I'm not around, it's not the type of thing I would typically schedule if we don't have both of us kind of available on it. So I don't know if there's some other places you guys can have him start, but I mean, that, I'm intending to be at like Wednesday the 29th or something, so it's like, but I don't want to say, like, I don't know what fires I'm putting out right when I first get back, so if we could say that first week of May, that would be.
So he comes in and he doesn't start on our other projects, he starts on Lugano. If you're committing to
I will commit to that.
that
yeah.
first week in May, he's already going to come in. We'll just tell him to bring the rock hammer with him.
Perfect.
He'll be bringing a ditch and bucket.
Yeah, if you guys have it,
Yeah.
that's great. I mean, let's get off my back, believe me. But yeah, we can say beginning of May would be, you know, that first week of May, we'll make ourselves available.
You all heard him.
Yep.
That's right.
We did.
I'll hold
It's
to it.
scheduled.
But that's what I remember Willie and Jeff were discussing, was that very first full week in May.
Right.
It starts the 4th.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I can't see the band still being on the roads then.
Okay.
And just let us know if anything obviously crops up and changes or whatever. I mean, we're
So,
very happy to slide. No, I'm just kidding.
so Ian, just a quick question
Yeah.
regarding the fact that that particular house in the corner didn't have water. That was a frozen pipe issue?
So we're talking to Lugano, right?
Yeah.
Still, yeah. I mean, that would certainly be our. So we had thaw-ups that opened themselves up last year, right around. I think the latest one, obviously, is when we checked it too. But it was April 17th was the last time we saw a thaw. You know, somebody wasn't in your district. It was over in where was it? Bartlett. But it was that was the latest thaw we saw. We saw some happen like April 15th. It depends on how deep that line is. So we know of what we've done. We don't really know anything else about that line. And having stopped a known leak on it, I think that's why my mind went to that right off the bat. And for all intents, we actually did end up taking it apart at the inlet of the house, so we stripped all other material. Like, so that it was just a wide open line with a ball valve on it. You know, we had no water there, and that was kind of like, okay, if there's no potential gravel plugging up a Y screen or something, the freeze up was the most likely scenario.
Okay, I guess I was trying to get clear in my mind was the freeze up in that funky little spur line that goes down to Eidelweiss that
See, I
connects to his service line to the
I
house.
think it's a very fair guess to say that it was on our section of line. I think that it's possible it was on theirs as well. We don't know that. We didn't get to the point we dug the curb valve, and I'm happy we didn't, but we didn't get to the point we had to dig the curb and try to check where we had water flow and where we didn't. So right now it's kind of open-ended as to
Okay.
Where it would have been. I mean, the leak was on our line, and you know we kind of rely on that moving water, so it's like, you know, that's would jump there. But any movement on that is going to help. So I don't know. I can tell you it was also shallow up. It could have frozen in multiple places, right? So it's like, but it was also shallow up at the curb valve. So hard to say. Anywhere we dug it was typically less than 4 feet deep. So
Okay.
I'm hoping he doesn't solve this with a bleeder.
we won't let him, right? I mean, for him, I would say that outside of an emergency, that would be a very temporary solution. I wouldn't typically, if you guys asked me, I'd say no, we wouldn't allow that. So there's only if there's some need, because we had to do a temporary line or something like that and run a bleeder for 2 or 3 weeks while we were doing it, then, but as a ongoing, that's obviously up to you guys, but obviously every time we recognize an issue on a customer-owned line, while we're not technically responsible for it, we do require them to fix it. So if they froze and we know that they, like say he calls in with no water, they ought not to do it. I'm not trying to pick on John. I think John's gonna do it, but I think if he calls next winter and they freeze again, in my opinion, as the district, we would be requiring that line to be replaced, because it's now a risk that we're out of control of, right? So like if a line is known to be freezing, it will break. Like there's just every time it thaws and freezes. So then we're gonna have water loss that's kind of undocumented, not known. So no different than kind of knowing there's a leak on it instead of waiting for that leak to show up.
Okay, but is it fair to say that once we do the corrective actions on Lugano, and that particular house is hooked up to the water main on Lugano, so we get rid of that spur pipe or
Yes.
whatever, that funky thing, that if it freezes next winter, then it's
We would be very sure.
from the homeowner's curb stop
Curb valve
to
pass.
the house.
Yep.
Okay.
Wherever we can't make depth of what our current standard is, we will insulate, double insulate all
Okay.
that around where so like at the water main itself, we'll cover anything that gets exposed and make sure that until we get down to the proper depth, it's all
Okay.
safe.
Fair enough. All right. So we.
And that's standard. Obviously, we come across a lot of mains that aren't, 5.5, 6 feet deep. And we just do it.
Anything more we need to discuss for Lugano? If not, we can send Jeff on his way and we can continue on.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Have fun, buddy.
You got it, my man.
All right.
Enjoy your
10:02.
day. See ya. Thank you.
10:02. We'll move to commissioners' reports and concerns. Nancy, we'll start with you.
You wanna go to?
That you're gonna go to
Yeah.
Ian.
Yeah. Okay. Let's.
Yeah.
He's number
10:02.
6.
We'll continue with the water and do the commissioners' concerns reports after the water report.
I don't have a ton. Obviously, we don't have a lot on here. I mean, we discussed the uranium thing with Nick the other day. You guys just let me know if anything moves on that, or if you need anything from us on that end. I don't think I left it with any kind of punch list items for myself.
At the end of
so.
that meeting, did you think that we needed to make the concrete floor larger? I didn't think you did.
No, I
I
don't.
wasn't sure what he thought at the end of that.
I don't. I saw you sent the pictures of so it's what I was envisioning in my head. I think my suggestion would be we relocate the dehumidifier and just figure out the layout of what we can make work without doing anything more, whether it's, different size vessels or stacking them in different ways. I mean, we can definitely fit with, 3 feet clearance from the panel and what we can maintain all that way. We got to float it in the floor, move it, ideally I have it on the wall, but if I can't, then we can find a way to orient it without having to, I don't think, do any more like construction, enlarging the building, adding concrete, anything like that. I think. I mean, it's obviously it depends on what we end up with for vessels, but from the way I envision it going, I don't believe it's a problem.
The vessels that were in the Rock House facility when we visited there, they were
Big.
probably 5 feet or more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were tall.
Yeah, they're much larger. Well, and these are, I think they had, probably 7 foot by 18-inch vessels or something. Right? Does that sound about right? 2 of them in
I
series or whatnot.
thought they were taller than me.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I can't.
And
It's
they had
been-
more
been
than
a lot
2.
of years.
I have a picture of those.
Because they have 4 up top and 2 at the center station, or vice versa. I can't. Like I said, it's been a minute, but you can put larger. So you know how it is. I mean, when you increase the circumference of a circle, I mean you're greatly improving the amount of media we can. A 6-inch difference isn't like, oh, we won't fit an extra cubic foot. You can really increase how much media you can fit into a single vessel. So you could probably get away with 2 24-inch vessels or something. The problem is now when disposal comes, which is a problem down the road. I don't foresee you guys having to deal with it for probably 15, 20 years. But depending on how we go about using the well and how much we try to pull through it and everything. But instead of them being able to cap and haul, and who knows what policy changes and all that stuff, we don't even know what's going to happen with these kind of rules and regulations in the future. But they would have to actually bring, more than likely, they would bring something to remove the media from the vessel, and then you have a separate handling charge on it. So that's where you're trying to kind of thread that needle between what's manageable by hand and by this company that's going to have to dispose of your medias, and what can you know, versus the space you have available. So I'd say we enlarge until we can fit it without getting into more construction costs on it, but trying to maintain a vessel that is still a manageable size. You know, I think anything over, start pushing over 3 cubic feet per vessel, you're starting to just get to a point where it's going to be harder and harder. You know, you can probably justify 4. Anything past that, it's going to be at the discretion of the people handling it. So
I have a question about the companies that we've been consulting with and how they work. Started off with you talking to Ari Prescott, which is a company I've known about for decades.
yeah,
And then Nick was talking to
Second Wind.
in southern New Hampshire,
Yeah,
which seems to be a similar type of company, where
Yep.
they
as to Prescott.
what I get from Prescott is they can do design. Ultimately, they're trying to sell product,
Yeah, they're a supply house.
but they don't install.
No,
Where not Simply Water,
Second
Wind does a similar consulting that R.E. Prescott did with you,
yeah,
and they supply product and they actually install.
so Second Wind they would be more like me. They are just a larger version of like a water operation.
They would buy from R.E. Prescott?
They would buy from a supply house.
So I didn't get
So
what
they
was
have
going
their
on
own
is-
in-house design. Like, so this would just be like, I kind of gave you guys like an idea of what we were doing. It's very simplistic. They just went, it's not an engineered drawing you receive from, so they're kind of aiding Nick in creating his drawing, because Ari Prescott was like, this is what we've given you, which is what you're going to get from the supply house is how much media do you need. You know, they're not going to lay out how the pipe works and tell you every part of this operation. They're just going to tell you how much media you need to treat that much water with this much uranium in it, right? So I don't want to like talk out of turn on this, because it's just like, it's Second Wind would just be, they are literally the exact same thing. They just are working with Nick and taking that drawing to a larger, a more refined scale. Like, it honestly, it wouldn't be any different than if I was working with Nick and creating a drawing based off that. At the end of the day, Second Wind would still be purchasing equipment. They don't in-house have like they're not a supply house. They're a water system operations company.
So what I thought was happening was that Nick was not getting answers from Ari Prescott after you had done a lot of footwork with them.
Yeah.
And that made him go to Second Wind because they were eager to get up here and see the opportunity for themselves, and started to give him a lot of free consulting. And I'm looking at this as which of these two companies wins in the end, and did we understand what was really going on?
I mean, I did not, when I got the...
You didn't get it either, right?
No, when I got the meeting, when I went over, I met there, and it was Second Wind there, I was like, what do we got going on here? So it's a pretty simple project in the grand. So I look at this as like, we've done probably somewhere around 20 of these in the last 5 years. Like, it's just not that, like, it's a pretty simple, you're gonna use anion resin, you're gonna remove uranium. Anything past that is just what it's just like field piping the equipment in. Now, you're gonna have to have a drawing approved by the state, and what we have put together, it's a line drawing. You tell them what it's going through for equipment, what your discharge rates are, and they're gonna say yes or no to it. So at the end of the day, they'll have to approve whatever or in this case Nick would submit to them. We'll get a approval or some design drawing notes saying, have you considered this, this, and this? You make those consideration changes, you give it back to them, and then that's it. It's just not that involved of a process. So, and I know we've discussed like the pH adjustment. Again, that's something I look at as like, no need to address that up front. We'll see what we have and then address it as we need to.
So do you think Nick agreed with that at the end of this?
I
meeting?
thought so, yes.
I do too.
I mean, that sounded like, I just think Nick is,
He's getting hung up on what Mike Unger was saying to him, and what I was hearing from you separately was Mike Unger doesn't need the amount of detail that that he's asking Nick to provide.
I don't believe so. I don't know that I've seen any of the conversations between Mike and Nick.
Neither
but,
have
Mike is as easygoing as they get. So I mean, I think we can. If I just haven't had a conversation with Mike since he had called once, maybe a few months ago. I think I mentioned to you guys just over asking where we were at with things because nothing was kind of moving forward. So not from his end, not from him seeing anything going from engineering or whatnot. So you're not, as far as I know, you're not even required to have an engineered stamp drawing on this. It is a pretty straightforward process. So I think all they need to know is how much are you putting in? Does it meet the demand of what you're looking for? Will it cover the source that you have? Go ahead. So I could talk to Mike and find out if I'm missing. I just also don't want to step. I know Nick's in this. I don't want to step on Nick's toes. I don't want to step on anybody's toes on this. So it's like whatever we got to do, we can do. But it is a very simple path forward.
I think we have to let Nick carry the ball into the end zone here.
Yep, agreed. I think that Nick's in it, and I think it's his project. He's gonna put together a final.
I just wanted to understand how these companies work because it didn't seem.
Yeah, no, it's they are literally, like I said, they're a much larger company than me. They've probably got 100 employees, so they're a much larger operations company. Different way they go about things, but at the end of the day, it's an operations company, not their means of creating a drawing is just greater than what I don't have a engineering program or a CAD or something that I'm gonna be able to put together a drawing for you guys. Would be and this is how we're going to do that, and send it over. So,
thanks for answering that.
Yep. So
I
whatever.
want to tell you,
I
I talked to Bernie. Talk about Como PRV,
Yes.
just to give you an
I was
idea of the
gonna ask
schedule
about
of that. Bernie lives a difficult life in trying to get customers and weather conditions and everything lined up. So, I'm living that with him now.
Yes.
And
especially this time of year, everybody's gung ho. So
he wanted to start 3 projects last month, and he couldn't start any of them.
Yep.
So the bottom line is, I told him that I would check in with him again in a month.
Good.
So he's not starting for us in May, and I don't think he's going to be looking for doing any ditch work at the beginning of this construction period. So, so that's that. Is that the PIV is not starting in the springtime.
Whenever he's starting to see his schedule pan out, you guys have that conversation with him. Just let me know, and I've told Bernie we can help him in whatever ways he needs or doesn't need as far as doing the, whatever his comfort level is with the actual internals of that. If they want us to do that, obviously that'd be up to you guys as well. But I said, we can help you guys with that.
I think he already is. I think he's already said that might be the way he wants to go.
Yeah. Entirely up to him. We're happy to just help him out from the operational end. We can help him on the pipe end, whatever makes sense. We just got to have a couple weeks notice as to when that's all gonna.
There's 2 things about that project that I haven't completely seen in my mind, and that is the proper way to drain that vault. That's a wet area. We're seeing that whole area is a phenomenon. The way the water disappears into the ground. We saw something last week that was really remarkable, which is a culvert a little ways down Hotwell from the site, but that whole site just gets the water coming down off Oak Hill, and it goes into the ground and disappears. It flows into the ground like a brook the width of your table, flowing, goes into this dugout area.
I think I followed that off Hutwell one time. Maybe that's the dugout area. We were chasing a leak over there, and it's like we got 20 feet in the woods, and the water was shooting out. And I'm like, it's groundwater.
Up out of the ground.
Yeah, a foot out of the ground, like running. It was, and not like 5 gallons. That's what we understand is like if this is it's doing 50 gallons a minute, it would be more water than we're using through the whole system. It's not a leak. It's just groundwater.
I think that whole area is a filter for the aquifer.
It's pretty crazy how much water moves through there.
So that makes me concerned about Como, because the road Como is on that level that
yeah, you get the brook over across the way, it's wetlands over there. I mean, I think the initial concept that I had I can't remember if it was Nick or whoever, but is we were gonna just supplement with like a pump pit in these. We were gonna have an active pit, we were gonna have a place we could drop a pump into that could pump it all the way down. Because we already have 4 or 5 pits. Even as you guys do this, as we update them all, they're going to be better sealed. You're going to have better sealed doors. I mean, a big part of why these things fill with water is just literally they're just not. It's manhole
cutting a hole in the bottom of this concrete vault to have a pipe that goes out to daylight is the thing that bothers me.
I'm not married to that. I think the idea.
So you'd like to just be able to come in, bring a sump pump with you and drop it into a indentation in the bottom of the concrete and pump it out if you have to. No drains to any outside.
I'm fine with staying away from a daylight drain. Yep. I mean, if it's like you're at a site where it really makes a lot of sense to poke a daylight drain out, yeah, do it. But if it's not, like, if it doesn't make sense, if this is a spot where the groundwater might be halfway up the pit, then let's just deal with it the regular way. I mean, we could seal the whole pit, tar it or whatever on the outside, and they're all sealed with that mastic, or it's not mastic, whatever it's called. All the sections of it will be sealed together. There'll be a sealed lid on this, I presume, and it's just we're not going to have the same water issues. An inch or two is fine. You just don't want this stuff underwater all the time. So, which as we're getting into spring is one of the things we're going to be going around and pumping all these pits down anyway. But there's still 4 or 5 pits that require that. So when we do PRV pits, we're going to have the generator and pump and everything on the van and truck or whatever, and just pump that one down too.
So I want to talk about the Bristenstock pit. Well, because you brought it up, I'm going to write that down and get back to that.
Bristenstock pit, yes.
Top of Bristenstock.
Yeah.
You've never seen the inside of it. No one that we know has ever.
We're
seen
going to
it.
find it this year. This is
So we'd like to
it's high on
coordinate.
the list.
We'd like to coordinate that party with you.
Okay.
When you're ready to pull a cover off that.
Might be next week or the following week. I get
Huh?
the guys depending on what the weather is doing. We got some nice days coming next week and a little bit of downtime as we're waiting for road bands to lift as well. So they may, if it makes sense, go out, shut down bleeders, as long as the ice is melted, do a PRV pit inspection and pump down. So I will let you know if they're doing it, and what we'll do is we'll find it, open it up, and then
I'll
we
sweep
can
the
meet you guys
top
on it.
off of it so you don't have to search for it
There you
because
go.
it's buried under forest debris. It's tough.
But you've actually seen it.
I know where
Okay.
it is.
All right.
It's not very big. I can't imagine how big the pit actually is.
Is it like a big square door?
Yes,
Okay.
about that size. What you just
They did. It's probably the same pit they installed in Jungfrau. So it's just a square access hatch, and then there's like a big.
did. It opens up
Yeah.
larger. Okay.
Yeah, there's a big pit underneath it. No, it'd be good. I don't know. I know we're passing back and forth the emergency plan, so we updated the zones and everything
Yes.
based off I found the old project plans. I actually took down. I didn't have copies of like the mapping or the like the actual project description and stuff. I have that. I'm sure you guys do somewhere. If you don't, let me know. I tracked down all that stuff through the engineer and the contractor and stuff, so I can send that over. But it had the elevations and what our expected ins and outs and all that stuff, and the new stuff is. So we'll confirm those. But yeah, when I tried to just update, I think we're at like 12 pressure zones now or something. So it's just every PRV we had, every dead end we create is another zone. But
Yeah, because I was telling the board last week that Bristenstock is a zone now.
it is.
Yep.
It's a pressure
Yep,
zone.
and it's
now,
listed.
anything past the Bristenstock PRV is its own zone. So you got
Yep.
the Rhineac pressure zone
Yes.
that feeds to the Bristenstock PRV, and then everything post.
So 2 pressure zones were created.
Just like you had the Rigi zone versus Summit Gravity Zone, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
now we've got the Summit Gravity Zone, the Rigi zone, which I renamed to the Upper Lake View, and now we got the Rigi
And now
zone,
Rigi.
which is. So if we want to change any of that, I'm sure you saw those changes I made in it. We can discuss, and maybe that's something that would be good. Is I don't know if you guys have Nick on, kind of like a retainer for review of certain documents or whatever, but if you wanted to look that over for any changes. But yeah, so that's that's on the docket to get into every one of those pits, see where they're at. So that's I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks. I don't know 100%. It kind of depends on what else comes up or whatnot. But
So
that's kind of a back burner item.
Back to Como.
Yes.
One issue was the drainage.
Yep.
And we're talking about a well site inside the sealed container
Yep.
vault.
Yeah,
Just
2
drop
by
a
2
sump
foot
in.
drop in sump or something.
The other
6
thing
inches
is a drawing of the 2-inch pipe coming down from St. Moritz into the new vault.
deep. Okay.
We had left it that Nick was fine with Bernie, you, and I deciding how he was going to pipe that.
Oh yeah, I think that's for the best.
That's just a sketch with Bernie,
Yep.
and having Bernie say that he's got it, and that's
The
it.
easiest thing to do here is going to be leave the existing PRV live because the other one's going on the other side of the road or adjacent to it or whatever, right? It's not going in the same spot. So you leave
Correct.
that live, you pipe everything, you do a
I think it's
minimal
going back
shutdown.
towards St. Moritz on the same side.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all we're gonna have to do is just have like, it's that old PRV, and I don't even know that we want to rip it out. Might just want to sit there as like the bypass PRV, right? So while they're doing their work, they cut in some T's and valves, ready to be tied to the new one that are
Right.
off.
You run through the existing, there'll be a 4-hour outage or something as they do that work. It should be easy to find. There's valves on either side of Como PRV, so they should be able to trace those right down and throw T's in right outside of it, easy shutdown.
So this is the conversation we need with a pad of paper and Bernie.
Yeah. So as he gets, I mean, let's do a site because I know where the valve is over on Como. That's an easy one to get. Or on St. Moritz as it goes kind of down off Oak. Is it the feed to Como is right. There's another gate valve right within about 50 feet of the say 100 feet of the PRV pit. So yeah, we can go there, kind of get where all the should be a painless shutdown. So there'll be a group of houses that are affected for, like I said, as long as that work goes on. But as far as locating the mains and doing the work, it should be pretty straightforward.
So this will happen in a couple of months, probably.
Perfect. Works for me. What else? So obviously, yeah, we talked John. He's aware of where he's at. That's we already talked Lugano, so they know they've got running water again. They're good there. Just talking, gonna go around, shut down bleeders as soon as everything's de-iced. PRV pit checks. Flushing probably won't happen for another couple weeks, maybe 3 to 4 weeks. You're gonna wait till things dry up a little bit to do that. That's it. Other than that, we're just on the ongoing stuff.
When
Okay.
you start getting ready to schedule flushing,
Yep.
can you
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I'll let you guys know.
try to let us know a week in
Give you-
advance so that we can send the
You'll still get the calls, but
notice
we'll
out?
it'll knock it down.
Of course, we're gonna
100%.
still get the
We-
calls, we understand that, but it does limit some of them.
100%. Something obviously not. You guys have been through your funding and everything, but we were talking about some of these blow-offs have been hit, and I know with the new project we switched over to hydrants, 2-inch, non-fire flow hydrants, just blow-off hydrants. You may want to look at a couple of spots like what we did over at the new project we just did, where we put in a flushing hydrant as opposed to a blow-off. Throughout the winter, there's times when we have shutdowns, or like when we had the emergency with the pumps kicked out and all that jazz. We don't really have access to any blow-offs during those times. So maybe in some key locations, start looking at changing out blow-offs to like yard hydrants so that we have accessibility to them in the wintertime. Be more consistent for like the water hammer when we're trying to flush. There'd be a lot of upside to it. So maybe some of the high pressure zones and or spots where we know where air outage causes a lot of problems. Look at adding flushing hydrants. I did get a price on the pump. I'll get you guys something over official. I didn't get it worked up yet, but I think the baseline for just the pump motor is about 15 grand. So that doesn't include the VFD. I was hoping to have that number before it came in today. I don't have it. So that's from one company. We're reached out to Hayes Pump, who we've worked with a lot on, no relation, but company down in Massachusetts that we've worked with on Grunfist. We just hadn't heard back from them yet. So Mike's trying to chase them down, get a price from them. Well, sometimes with the Grunfist pumps, they're a bigger pump supplier and can do better on it. So we'll hopefully have that ironed out. And then, we always have the choices. It's like, how much do we want to do this in segmentation? Do you want to change just the motor, which is the thing that we believe is the cause of the problem right now, and change just the motor, which is probably about 60% of the pump cost. See if we go well there, and then it's like, if that doesn't do it, you do the VFD, and if then there's some, you may be changing a pump end out in 2 years, because like I said, that's probably moved about 1 billion gallons of water, which is pretty wild to think, but in its lifespan, it's moved a lot of water. So yeah, we can do it in chunks. It's just what ends up, if it ends up that you replace the VFD, the pump, and the motor, it costs a lot more, not a lot more, but say 25-35% more to do it in chunk stages, as opposed to saying, well, this thing is old, this is old, this is old. That's all 12 to 14 years old, which is kind of, past, it's not a surprise. It's like we're at lifespan on it. So do we want to nip it all in the bud and do one thing, or do you guys want to get segmented pricing to have the option on it? Pump, or like I said, I'd probably start motor, VFD, and then pump as we decided to do it. So I can get it in either, just package if we're pretty sure. What would be my suggestion is just probably change out the whole kit and caboodle, because we know the hours that it's run, the water it's moved, the life that it's had, that it more than likely, even if it's working right now, you're a year removed from doing the next chunk of it. So, we can get it in that package form versus couple of different options on it. So
And you'd like an answer right now.
It's honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I can ask them to split it up, and labor is what it is. I'll just do T&M with you guys on that stuff. It doesn't really matter. It's just how it is. Like the chunks of the whole are more expensive than the whole. So it's like if you do it in chunks, and then
I
there
have an
will be
opinion. Do
additional.
you have an
labor.
opinion?
No, let's hear your opinion.
I'd say do the whole thing.
Okay, that's highly suggested. And honestly, labor-wise, it's just you can change out an entire pump in like 2 hours. It's like really not a 2-3 hours. So you change out the motor and deal with the stem and matching stuff up and everything. It might be a 6-8 hour ordeal. So
We like to imagine that things are getting more solid,
yeah,
not iffy.
yeah, that's good. This would definitely be solidifying things up there. So and it's just it is what it is. All these pumps are getting, all of them are getting a little bit older. It's going to be something we probably talk about in the near future about just doing maybe a proactive replacement on the important ones. There's redundant spares at almost every station, every pump other than.
I wouldn't go that far.
What's that?
I wouldn't go that far.
I'm just saying we're getting closer to that. Like Shikorowa Station, I think the pumps up there are probably pushing 20 years old. They do a lot less. They pump, on average 6,000-8,000 gallons a day. That's a far cry from moving 60, 70, 80,000 gallons of water every single day. So
Right.
they don't have the same workload. But good. Well, we'll cross those bridges as we get to them. I'll let you guys know if they're starting to get tired. But I think that's all I got on the docket. So
Okay.
all right, I got you marked down for first week of May for the ledge removal. We'll see. Just
Lugano.
let me know if his. What's that?
For
Yeah,
Lugano,
for Lugano.
yeah.
Let me know if
Yep.
anything changes on that, and we'll
get that
we'll,
all squared
plan
away.
accordingly.
And I'll tell Willie that's where he's starting.
Excellent. All right, guys, have fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Enjoy the snow out there.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Someday it's gonna stop.
It
I just
will
don't
at
know
some
when.
point.
Jeff did this. He took the snow tires off.
That's right. That's the problem. Hey guys.
Okay, it is 10:26. We can move on to commissioners' concerns and reports. And so Nancy, we'll start with you.
Okay, so as he stated, I've been in touch with and have worked with Simply Water and DES to get the emergency plan finalized. We should have the signature page here for us. And I'd like to make a motion that we sign the emergency action plan for the water system.
Second that.
I don't have much of anything else to talk about
Well,
with it.
Oh, I'm all in favor. Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Who signs it?
We all do.
Well, there's something called owner signature up here. Ian's already signed. Then there's system representatives, so I guess
Three of us.
sign there.
Yep, all three of us
And
signed.
there's a second page, so we got 2 pages we have to sign. Okay. Look at that.
Today is the 7th.
Mhm. And one of the things with this plan is when we put in the Como PRV this summer, we can update this plan at any point. So if we get into the habit of updating the plan when we make changes that will affect the plan, we'll be in much better shape than just trying to dust it off every 5 years and update it to everything that's happened in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So it is something that they do accept updates at any point over the course of the 5 years.
5 years.
That they just only require an update every 5 years. So we could, like I said, as part as we're doing documentation and updating some of that stuff, we can simply add this to something that we should update as we make changes and as we update, as we do these projects. Just seems to make sense to me.
So Ian didn't sign the second part here. This is a copy of his signature. Look, well, maybe not. But he didn't sign the second page.
Oh,
And Seabrook Station?
yes, that's part of the DES, part of the plan. So it's automatically in everybody's plan and it's through the DES template, not anything that any district actually deals with. And they talked about, they talked about removing it many years ago.
And it's
Now it just says not applicable.
480 services approximately.
Yep.
So that's
Yep, that's been updated. We had many less a few years ago.
Huh?
Okay, so at some point we need to get Ian back for another signature, right?
We'll send it to him. Who submits it? We probably do.
No, we send it to Lisa.
So that's when Ian can sign.
Okay,
Put a
okay,
note
so-
to sign the second page.
Simply Water takes care of it, forwarding it to DES, all right?
Don't look outside.
Like they said, at some point this will end.
Can you get a picture of that back window, Lauren?
Oh.
It's snowing.
Do you have anything else?
Okay,
Nancy?
yep. Jane and I did work on the cash flow report. We put in the proper numbers for January and February. We didn't go any further than that. 'Cause we weren't so good at trying to manipulate some of the formulas and things that are preset. And I also know that there's some other things in this document that we may want to
Modify?
modify, rearrange how how it's put together. Okay, we do have copies.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Can I come up there?
Yeah, here.
I'll just come up there. Look over her shoulder, if you don't mind.
Well, I got a,
You can have
Extra
your own
here.
copy.
Can I have your own?
Okay.
Yeah, pull a seat up
But
too,
I
though.
wanted to add,
Pull a chair up.
okay.
I have a question. I tried playing with this
I
at
did
home.
too, and I left the
And-
copy
and-
at home. Where it does.
It didn't work. I could not click on a lot of cells, so I'm
Okay.
thinking it's linked to, you have to be linked into the
So
office system.
did you try to do that with the sheet I gave you?
No, I did the one that came from the
I
office.
I took it, the one we got from the office, and I downloaded it, and I opened it, I use Mac, so I opened it in Numbers and made some changes,
Okay.
which I left the copy at home.
So this printout looks like it has the highlighted section that I did.
Okay.
So what I did was I saw where
It's a double.
the formulas got changed by accident, I guess, by somebody stomping on the formula by writing a value into that cell where the cell gets calculated, it doesn't have a human write a number in. So I put the formula back in, which blew away the number that somebody typed in, like the minus 9,000 was the first one.
Uh-huh.
And after I fixed all the cells that I saw that needed formulas, then I protected the cells that should not get stepped on by a human, so that you can't accidentally blow the formula away. In the sections that you put the numbers in, such as the payments that are being made for towers and
Right.
Mm-hmm.
those things are not protected, and there's no password on the protection of this. So if you want to change formulas, then you just take the protection off, and then it can be a total victim to whatever you want to do to it.
So that amount, as we found out when we were working on it, the amount for the tower is part of the,
Yeah,
is part
it
of,
was-
it's a fixed deposit.
One of the issues, because it has listed here, the very last line in the beginning balance section says miscellaneous income. Well, the income for the year, we take off the bank report, the bank statement. So that shows how much income we got, you know, how many deposits we did that year, that month. So, but the $665.50 listed for the tower
Income is included.
as
in that.
income is included. So we actually had to manipulate the number from the bank statement to subtract this $665.50.
Right, so basically the number that we come up with for miscellaneous income is minus that 665 because
Because it didn't go in the bank?
No, it did.
Then why isn't it in the bank statement?
It is in the bank statement. However,
it's included and
It's
it's
in-
all, so it's double included here.
it's one line on the bank statement that says deposits for the month. But this report separates two deposit lines because the tower is separate, so we had to subtract the tower from the actual bank statement number
I see what you're
to
saying.
get the numbers to work.
The tower,
So
the tower
it's-
revenue was already in the bank statement, and
Yes.
you want to see it on this spreadsheet, so you have it separated out,
Well,
and then
this,
you're adding it back together again.
yeah,
That's just changing the formula then, because it's the top line.
Right.
so,
But I saw another thing while we're talking about the tower revenue.
uh-huh,
We're gonna need a second tower revenue, and we're gonna have to name the tower that we're talking about,
Yeah, 2 towers.
because we're gonna get paid by 2 towers
yes,
soon,
Okay,
hopefully,
Yeah.
God willing.
yes.
so isn't there a way to
We can add a line and put 2 towers in there. I can do that if you want.
Okay,
And you already see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can tell.
yep.
Can I ask a question, or do you have more?
Yeah,
questions?
certainly.
Okay, where I highlighted, I didn't get, the row is called quick QB bank balance end of month. And I don't know how you had QuickBooks balances for the end of month on months that didn't happen yet.
That was just, we only did 2 months.
Yeah, we only did anything in January and February.
Should've
These are
been all
numbers that were
zeroed out.
left in there from the previous sheet?
Those are all from private,
This is
previous-
still a work in progress.
Yes.
Yes,
Progress,
it's still a work
yeah.
in progress. So we worked on the first 2 months, tried to figure it out. I have to drive down to Massachusetts today, and my son, all he does is spreadsheets all day. So he was gonna show me some of the formulas and how to do them. There is a way we could have just skipped that. We could have done a sum total and a formula that skipped that 665 and would have come up with the right amount, I guess. Sounds like you know it pretty well. So.
Yeah, I made a living out of this for a
Okay,
while.
so
Right.
he's kind of in the same position, so.
yeah.
Before you scoot from here, we've got checks for you to sign.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll take care of it from there.
So-
Okay.
In general, I think overall the report has the right information.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think it's in the right
Right order.
format or the right order. Some of the stuff that's in the beginning, so like the loans, will be an expense for that month.
It's almost
Well,
Well,
like they should be
it
subcategories.
should flow all the way down. In
Right.
other words, obviously, the end of one month constitutes the beginning of the next month. Ending
Right.
balance, beginning balance. But it's good to have your fixed expenses since you can plot those out for the year. We know what they are.
Right, but they should be a
Okay.
subcategory possibly of expenses.
Did you
So
see
they
how
can
I
be
put
brought
bold
above.
borders around total cash?
Uh-huh.
I took the word flow out of that too.
Good,
It's total cash on hand, right?
correct.
Right,
And then I highlighted expenses, because that's basically the highest level, is you want to see how much cash you have and how many expenses you're anticipating for that month, to
Yes,
see whether you're in trouble or not.
but couldn't you put these expenses, you have expenses up above, couldn't you put these fixed expenses as a sub,
We can move anything the way
yeah,
you want.
move it up under
So
that?
you'd like to move,
So what I'm saying is, you get all these fixed, it's like an afterthought. If this was somehow, without being added in, put under expenses, whether you make another column, or, I don't know how you would
the
do
columns
that.
are the months, so.
Yeah, oh, that's true,
You
you
want
can't do that,
rows.
yeah.
So, you want to fix, are you still talking about fixing the
Expect-
tower
let-
thing
Well,
versus?
it's both, because the tower would be in, under here, income, fixed income would come under here. You'd have tower plus that. Do you know what I'm saying?
You wanna rename this so that it shows that the tower money's in that? Is that what you're saying?
Or just show tower underneath it somehow.
Just move it from the top down
Yeah,
below.
yeah, as a sub.
Its own. It's part of the cash though, total
Yeah,
cash.
so we
It
would.
is.
Yes. And so in that case, because we had it already in there, you could bring this up another 665 and just put under fixed. Maybe my thinking skewed. You could just put tower underneath to show that 665 was.
So don't make it look like
Fixed.
this number's getting
Yeah, it's
added
not a
in again.
standalone number really. It's part of expenses.
So
it's part of income. Sorry.
So right now, this total cash is showing these things,
Everything.
the tower twice.
Yeah. Well,
All of
no,
them?
because we removed it from the.
Yeah, we did it manual.
Yeah, you don't wanna do that.
No,
Right,
we don't wanna do that.
that's why once we did January and February, we went, okay, we're doing a lot
I
of this
see.
manually, and there's gotta be
Right.
better ways to do
Bring it
this.
down under
And
here
we don't
as,
wanna.
fixed income,
So
maybe underneath there and put
So-
fixed income tower, whatever.
I get what you are saying. You wanna see the tower broken out, but you don't wanna add it in twice in the total
Right,
cash.
right.
Right,
Any of these other things are the same? Is the total cash an actual calculation, or is
Yes, that is an actual calculation. I did a sum. I know how to do that formula. That's pretty easy.
So, the only thing you wanted to subtract, the only thing you did subtract out was the tower.
Yes, and that we did manually.
So I get it, you want the tower separated out of this formula
Yes.
and listed by
So
itself.
either listed like we did these, or just, these would be like there'd be a fixed income and there'd be fixed
That's a matter of, that's
expenses.
just a matter of the visual of how to
Yeah, it's
break
just a
these
visual
cells
thing.
out so that it looks
Right.
like it's not part of it.
Yeah.
right,
That's a.
so how do we,
I'll do that.
okay.
Okay,
I
all right.
understand what you're saying.
All right, and I know that, obviously TAN isn't gonna count this year, we won't be taking a TAN, we didn't last year either. Then it's got the loans
That'll be changing.
and the one-time yearly expenses, for the insurance. And this stuff is important for us to see it, to know when it's coming up. So I think it belongs on this report, but I think we should somehow separate, because it will be in the expenses
Yes.
for that month. So if we got the $55,000, which we just kept last year's calculation, because I figured maybe at the end of the first quarter, we might check and see whether or not that calculation is correct. So,
Haven't we
The-
used $55,000 for years?
no, we had it 50,
Oh.
and then we upped it to 55. But yes, we've used right around this same
You
number
don't believe
for,
it's 55 anymore.
for a lot. I don't either.
This summer is not gonna be 55 at all.
Yeah.
That's
Correct.
why what you're doing is very valuable. We're gonna need this more than ever
Correct.
this year.
Right. That's why I wanted to get it
For looking ahead.
to get
yeah.
it going, so that we can start planning and looking at things moving forward.
That's great.
So the annual expenses will show up in the actual expense for that month. So I'm wondering, like in, let's say,
Well, we
July, we got a $60,000 payment for Rhineac that'll be coming in. I mean, that we'll have to pay.
It's shipping out.
We'll be shipping out. So do we want the 55,000 to include, so change that 55,000 to include the 60?
Well, I think
So
it
it's
will
really
change.
100 and,
It
I
will
don't think we've
change.
ever done that. We always look to see whether there's a major payment coming up, because the total expense adds it all together.
right,
Like right now, you have 60,920
This
for-
is from last year too, though.
for Rhineac.
yeah,
Then you also that month have a Primex payment
yes,
for property liability.
mm-hmm,
So the total, right now, the total expense is forecasted for July
for
is
110.
117.
Yeah,
Right. But it's not part of the up above yet because we haven't gotten the bank statements on that.
Well,
But it's something we can count on.
we know that big payments are being made in July, and that's the race of the tax
Right.
payment coming in.
Right.
Correct. Correct. That is the annual race.
Yes.
So do we, should we be,
I don't see why you want to change anything now.
I don't.
It's just the way they're
Okay.
going to read it.
Right.
okay,
But I think the
I don't think you
towers-
want to subtract it out. I think you want to see
Right.
Yeah.
that there's a payment that's impacting this.
But it's separated because we know it's gonna be part of the total above for expenses.
so should we,
You're pointing up here in the cash.
No, so when the expenses come, that will include whatever's, right?
right, so if we remove
This is
the
revenue.
tan line, if we remove the tan line,
55,000 is expenses.
and then it has,
That's just a guess, so it should include.
then it has the loans,
I see what you're saying.
So these, we know that it's gonna be this amount more. We can count on that, we can.
You're trying to say something. Can I hold you up for a second?
Yep.
And what Jane's pointing out is that in the top part here of beginning balances is the name of it, and the totals are called cash flow.
Mhm.
And does the
It doesn't
does the
reflect it.
expense line really belong there? That really should go into the second group.
Yeah, cause I actually had to subtract it.
Right.
That's why I wasn't following her right away. She's pointing at it, and it's so small I couldn't see that she's
Right.
showing an expense. That should be down in
Right.
the second group.
It should be, this would be expected expenses, but this month
These are
obviously would be,
actuals.
yeah,
So
Right.
maybe it goes by itself at the top of this.
yeah.
Gets out of being
That would
mixed
be
in
great,
with
'cause
the
then
revenue.
That would be great.
We don't,
Okay.
that would be great, that would be great, and then it will show the, and we can rearrange, like, right now it has tan, it has loans, and it has annual expenses, or one-time yearly expenses, as their own little subtitles. I don't think we need subtitles on those. I think we can just list Rhineac loan, backhoe loan, Primex insurance, employment, the property and liability, the workers' comp,
yeah,
and just get rid of some of the extra lines in there.
well, we have,
Consolidate all the Primex, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, no, you gotta keep each of them separate because they get paid on different months.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about like this physical line here that says 1 year, one-time yearly expenses, or total loans.
so you wanna get rid of that line.
So that it just shows
All the
loans,
So you don't want subtotal on loans, it just
Right.
goes into the total expenses at the bottom.
Yeah.
right, so it can show loans and then expenses.
And no category bold
Right.
labels. All right, gotcha.
I didn't think of that, that's a
You following?
Yeah.
Familiar with that?
I want to see how it's going to play out. My druthers would be do it like a typical financial accounting cash flow statement. But what you're saying makes sense. It'll work.
yeah,
It's just, but in if you do it according to financial accounting, you've got three separate categories. You have cash flows from operations, which includes all your normal expenses. You've got cash flows from investing activities, and cash flows from financing activities. So financing activities where you'd see the outgoing because we financed certain loans. But anyway, I don't want to confuse the issue. I don't
That
want to confuse the
system's all
issue.
set up when you
What?
pay taxes on the revenues that you're making.
Right,
Yeah.
And that's something you're used to.
it's something you're
I
used
And
to.
this
know
is
that.
what we're used to,
But-
and
but
we
what-
outnumber you.
Right, I get that. That's why I'm not going to try and override anything
but
here.
if you have some.
But the
good-
point is when we have auditors coming in, and guess what they're accustomed to? So if you have it
Right.
set up the way they're used to seeing
They're
it.
So you think-
municipal auditors, and they're used to how municipalities do it.
And they don't look at cash flow
And they don't
statements.
look at cash flow.
They don't look at our cash flow statements.
All right, all right.
They look to
Like I
see
said,
what-
I'm not trying.
We
I'm
could
not.
put emojis on it. and
No.
everything.
I'm gonna let you do it the way
We
you
were
want to
almost
do it.
ready to put emojis on it, and it
It
wouldn't have
would've
been
been nice.
happy.
Otherwise, I'm gonna default to my accounting training, and that's just the way it is.
Unless this messes you up.
No, it doesn't mess me up. I can
Okay.
figure, I can backward engineer anything.
And then
As long as the Excel sheet lets me.
in this case, wouldn't all the totals then be
There were cells I couldn't click on. I was like, why isn't it working?
We're breaking it up
So
that
you
way,
must have been
or
working
not?
on the
Or
one
is
I
this
gave
just
you.
I
kept
guess so,
separate
yeah.
to show it?
There's
I
no
think it was
password in the
Kept
protection.
separate to show
The
it.
way
That's
it
what I
is
was
to
looking for
show it.
password and I didn't see anything.
I left it blank,
Okay.
just so that it wasn't,
But you locked some cells.
I just didn't want, it prevents accidents.
Yes.
I do have to address something off the, if I can do it as part of her report. I can't talk to the bank until he says I have a kind of a roundabout amount for what we wanna take out of that, with that CD, cause they may work with us. I guess he looked at it, he said, oh, the CDs, business CDs here aren't great.
They don't show you the CD rates.
They didn't show me the CD
This
rates.
is
and
what
we
I don't
won't
get about-
he won't even talk about it till he has a kind of an amount of what
Is
we're
this
talking
is
about.
this Dan at the bank?
Dan.
Okay. I'd almost like to go with you.
Okay, that's fine.
I hate putting you through this by yourself.
No, it's been fun.
This is the way I talked to a VP that was just ridiculous on the telephone. And finally, we decided we're not doing a tax anticipation note with them, is that they just made everything way too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically, we're looking for a one-time CD for less than $8,000.
Oh, okay.
It's 10% of Bernie's contract, and I don't have the exact number of Bernie's, but I know it wasn't 80,000.
Right.
So I can say to you, it's less than 8,000. Based on that, hopefully Dan would say, yeah, you don't, this is way too much work for you to get a bank business account to even get this one CD. That's why I was telling you, I don't want to waste a lot of your time chasing
Yeah,
this.
and that's what it seems to be, at least when I looked it up on Google, is that you need a business account in order to, our accounts aren't business accounts that we have in there?
No, evidently municipalities is corporation.
Correct.
We're a
Okay,
municipal
all right.
corporation, but we don't have a business account.
Right.
What do we have, a personal account? Is there a municipal account?
I
that's
think,
a-
and I don't know if it's
I never heard
specifically
that
listed as
before.
municipal or what it is.
I never heard the bank call it a municipal account, so I don't know why it's not a business account, but.
I would have thought they would have made it a business
If you
account.
can tell them it's gonna be a CD less than 8,000, if
Okay.
that gives them enough to tell you whether it's worth your while or not.
Okay.
Then let's go with that,
All right,
but I don't wanna waste your
okay, I'm
time.
gonna be gone for a couple days.
That's
So
fine.
Okay.
I can take care of
That's
it.
fine.
And then the checks, I guess
Yes,
the
if
woman
you
who
could
does
sign
it-
the checks and.
Well, the woman who does the checks isn't gonna be making them anymore, so I have to get them
Yes.
to the bank?
Right.
Yeah,
They're a
we'll
lot
we'll
more-
just order them from the bank moving forward.
A lot more expensive, but it was great that Francine did them while she
There's
did.
n- I'm just curious, is there nothing you can get online or through QuickBooks that prints you checks?
I think when we looked, no one was beating Francine's price.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know if there's another QuickBooks
I thought-
consultant in the area that also prints checks.
Oh, she did it through QuickBooks.
She printed them at her office herself,
Right.
was my understanding.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I thought there was, you could incorporate within the program itself checks that are printed out. Maybe that's something different. I
Yeah.
don't use it myself, so I.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
not familiar with that.
Yeah.
But we'll just wind up doing the deluxe stuff through the bank.
I can take those over there.
Yeah, if you could just sign all those and
Yeah, okay.
take them back when you're done. Okay. All right. Do you have anything else, Nancy? Got one through emergency plan, updated cash flow report?
And thank you, Nancy, for helping me.
And the only other thing I had is, and we don't necessarily need to come up with a decision right today, but it is something that we need to think about and that I'd like to see us get a policy on or figure out which way we're gonna do it and have an agreement. Driveway culverts. We have gone back and forth. There have been times that the homeowner or the district did a cost sharing, where the homeowner was asked to buy the culvert and we did the installation. There have been times in the past where the district simply
Did it.
did it. We paid for the culvert, we did the fix. Knowing that we've already identified a half dozen, or 4 right on Hutwell, is why I'm bringing this up, that I think we need to have a plan as to how we want to deal with these moving forward for this year. There's pros and cons for
both
each
ways,
way. You know,
I started looking at this. This was going to be part of mine too.
okay,
I'm looking at other towns in the state that have driveway ordinances and looking at, I need to look at RSA 216, I think it is, where it spells out the state's requirements for driveways, and it's the law on towns' driveways also.
Mhm.
I didn't reach the conclusion yet, but it looks to me like the law backs up towns telling the property owner they have to get in compliance at their total expense is on them.
oh, okay,
But I'm not at that point yet. I want to pull it all together because we need to do this pretty quickly, and we need to have everybody understand that this is the way we're going from now on. Because we're spending tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of fixing the drainage system, and
Yeah,
right,
it's all,
right, and culverts are a big part of
and
it.
the
A big part
driveways
of it.
jeopardize the whole system.
and although as much as I hate to spend the extra money, I kinda like the idea is if we see a problem, we just take care of it without any delay. But we need to discuss it.
But some of these have been in existence for many years. As Tony's pointing out, like on Eidelweiss Drive, that driveway is brand new. We spent a lot of time there with the DPW. Tony's saying that's gonna happen every time we get a good rain.
Mhm.
And that's $200 plus our time every time it rains. That's
Yeah.
a bad formula.
Oh, absolutely,
Right,
absolutely. Okay,
So let me pull something together and we can reach an official conclusion on that.
okay,
I have to leave you people.
Thank you.
thank you, Jane.
thank you.
Thank you for all the help.
Hopefully you're driving out of this stuff.
I hope so. At least driving into rain more likely.
It's not sticking, so.
No, it isn't. It's not out.
It's dusty, that's all it is.
Well, could be 3 inches on the grass.
Yes, on the
The
grass.
forecasts from Maine and New Hampshire both said, concurred that we're getting 3 inches,
Ugh,
1 to 3.
Isn't that special?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what else you got?
I think that was quite enough.
Okay, no, I was talking to Mark, because I thought we moved on to Mark.
We covered Muddy Beach.
Yep.
We covered Black Dog excavating pretty well. We covered the Burnham Company. We covered Hotwell driveways. We talked about inflation and the spreadsheet and our best laid plans starting in January, even with the meetings we had in November pre-planning, all went out the window with one man's decision. Hockey nets. I want to find out, we made a motion to request that one of our law firms send us the file.
Yes,
Did you ever see the file?
I do not know if we have received those files.
Did you see the request for the files? I think I did see the request.
I think I saw the request.
Yeah, I think so too. Is that
But I
on-
don't
is that
know-
on the Hotwell property?
I don't know if we've had
Yes,
a
one
response,
of them.
yeah,
One of them.
that's one of them.
The good thing about Hotwell is
Yeah.
Is it's a
all
very
on.
long word.
Yeah.
lot of issues.
Yeah. Issue
Go ahead,
prone.
what were you saying? You saw the request?
I saw the request, but
not
I
the
don't
file?
think I've seen anything that says
Okay.
we received.
I'm gonna go upstairs and see if I can get an agreement that we can redo what we did with the sheriff's agreement and leave a document that we sign and notarize upstairs and leave it there for him
Okay.
to. And I'll contact the sheriff and tell him where we are and ask him if he's gonna be ready to sign it within a few weeks. How's he doing with insurance and stuff?
Mhm.
I sent a response to Rock House Mountain on their
Yes,
question.
saw that, yep. Mhm.
I haven't seen anything back from them. The trees at the summit around where we want to do work on the roof, I
Yes,
think step one is to get those trees
Trim the back.
cut down
Right,
to
just trim
stumps
back, yeah.
out of the way.
They're not big.
No, I think maybe one birch is a few inches wide, but the rest of them are all sapling type. So I don't know who we can get to go up there and cut that out, but I'll last,
You don't think our guys can do that? I didn't think
I
there's
think
anything
kind
really.
of enough for them to do.
Yeah, okay,
I think the water system has to pay for those to get come under contract.
okay.
Could,
Just my idea.
No, I got no problem with that. It wasn't like, I wasn't seeing like major big trees up there that would take somebody who's a real tree person. But that's
Right.
why I just bring it up.
We probably want them hauled away from there. We don't want fuel lying on the
Yes,
ground
yes.
near
That's true.
all that expensive stuff.
True.
right. Right. What about Klein? Have we heard from them yet? We gave them some contracts for some stuff last summer, and some of it was
One of them was the
not finished, and the plan was to get him he would finish that stuff off this year.
What, refresh my memory, what was this
Warren.
stuff?
Warren had a list of things to do. He took
Oh,
the
The
Yeah.
back steps.
Yep.
he took the
The
sign
back
he took the
steps.
sign down off the building and put the snow guards up.
Yep,
And he had a
okay,
list of other things to do, and
Right.
we didn't say against the deadline. He could just do them as he had time available.
As he had time.
Okay.
So
Right,
I
now
will
I
call
remember.
Warren
Yeah.
and see where he's at
Yeah.
and see if he wants to do that next.
See if he wants to do it next.
I'm also thinking of putting something a temporary fix to hold that bulletin board doors closed. It actually has magnets that are supposed to, but those magnets don't hold.
Oh, they haven't in a long
I
time.
don't know if the magnets gave out or they just need to be adjusted outward so they.
is this the one outside the office, or the one in Hutwell?
Oh, the one at Hutwell.
So if it's okay with you, I'm gonna tamper with those doors to see if I can get them shutting better than they are now until we get a rehaul of that whole bulletin board
Okay.
area.
That would be great.
Yeah,
See. That's it.
okay, my turn. 11:01. All right, so last week I did call that CPA firm of Leone, McDonald, and Roberts in North Conway because I was told they do municipal audits. I was given wrong information. They do not do municipal audits. So I said, okay, but surely you can refer me to someone. And said, oh yeah, there's this place in Concord called Plodsnick. And I was like, oh, nope, that's not going to work. So what I did was I did some research on the New Hampshire chapter of the Certified Professional Accountant Society, and they give they have a filtering mechanism. What kind of accounting do you need? So municipal's in there. So I put municipal, and all of a sudden a big long list came up. I started reading a lot of the descriptions of those particular companies, and it seemed to me they maybe didn't do a very good job on the filter because it looks like some of these companies don't do municipal auditing. But the point is, I have a list now. So I will, that's my action item over the next week or two to start calling each and every one of these companies, tell them what we need. And hopefully we will find one that is willing to do it and will not extract an arm and a leg from us to do it, because it's pretty easy. I mean, I tried to explain to you guys, we have a very small budget. It's very, very easy to, shouldn't be that hard to do an audit. We're not a big major municipality. Okay,
No, but the DRA and the laws do require that we hit a lot of the stuff that actually doesn't apply to us.
I know, they gotta go down a checklist.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is NA.
Yeah,
but they still have.
exactly.
I
But
know,
they
I
still
understand
gotta
that.
go-
I understand how
Yeah.
auditing works.
They
Okay.
still gotta look, at it, whether it applies to us or
So I was
not.
telling Nancy that the CPA firm in North Conway was a no-go, but I'm developing a list from the Professional Society site in New Hampshire of those that claim, or at least the filter says they do municipal audits. I'll start calling them one by one. And there's a pretty long list on there. So we'll find out. I'll just keep calling. Okay, another thing, yesterday I spent a good bit of time with Mark Z from Tax Exempt Leasing to go over every single one of those pages in the lease documents, and they're basically identical other than the different machinery that they're quoting. So the first thing he said is, okay, we don't accept digital signatures, has to be a handwritten signature. Okay, no problem. You no longer have to mail the documents to us. We'll accept high resolution scan, provided that you fill in all the lines that you're required to fill in, which is most of the signatures, with blue ink. I said, okay. What's the other thing? And he said, and the other thing was, it basically said, we only want, in most of the signature items, one person being the lead point of contact. So I made that myself, but there is one page where we require both your signatures. One is the authorizing signature, so you're the authorizing person saying it's okay for me to be that single point of signature contact. And then on that page, you become the witness that Mark is signing.
Yes.
So I'm going to make a motion that we complete these two lease packages so I can get them to tax exempt leasing. So that's my first motion.
Complete to,
To complete the signature items required of you two
on the lease agreements?
for the lease agreements.
Complete signature items, complete signatures on lease agreements.
Okay. So that's my first motion, and
One at a
I will
time.
take care of.
One at a time,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, I'm not going to make another motion at this moment because this is very easy once we agree on it. If we agree on it.
Complete two
Second.
signature items on lease agreements for trucks.
Okay,
Right.
I'll second
Seconded
that.
by Nancy.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Okay. And once that's done, I'll take care of the scans and get those off to Mark today. So why don't we do that right now, and then I'll make my second motion, which is related but not with the.
Do you have a blue pen?
Yes, right
'Cause
here.
mine's black.
What? No, has to be blue.
I know.
Has to be blue. Okay, so. You just need to sign here, Mark, and Nancy needs to sign here.
Oh, it's even bright blue.
Yeah, it's a-
Yes. So, the current one we're working on right, and then, hold on, before you move on, there is one other one you need to sign. This is the escrow agreement. The escrow company they're gonna use is the Bank of Oklahoma. The actual lending bank is Santander. So the escrow company needs to have, again, my signature as a specimen signature, but again, this is where you sign, basically authorizing me to do that. To be the signature person. No, that's this, they said leave that blank, one person. Okay, so your two signatures are done, and Nancy, you need to sign on this, and then once that's done, we'll repeat that for the second lease
She
agreement.
doesn't sign that?
What's that?
She doesn't sign that one?
No, no. Oh, and you said, okay, that's the number I asked you about, Leslie's year of formation, so I'll just put 1979.
It is 79.
Okay, and that's what I'll put there. Okay. So, 1979. All right.
So in 3 years, we need to have a 50-year celebration. Should be fireworks and cake.
We can do that.
We can do that. Oh, we'll have to get a waiver
Otherwise-
from the police chief on those fireworks, but
Otherwise, we'll be 50 years old in 2029.
And the selectmen are the ones that we could get permission from
For what?
for fireworks.
to have our own fireworks display.
Okay, so same thing. You sign there. Wait a minute.
I think it's just,
Okay, Mark, you sign there, and Nancy signs there.
or other member of the governing body. Attested by Nancy.
Yep. And then we get the pen back. Same thing here. Okay. That was, make sure they're in the right order when I get back. Okay, my second motion, now that we have the paperwork done for the financing, is, as I let you know that both Mike and Brian have been every week calling me. This doesn't require, I just think probably we should all sign, they just need signed, these are the purchase agreement and quotes. There's 3 documents, one for strictly the Dodge, that goes to Keene, then 2 for HB Fairfield, 1 for the Western Star, and then 1 for the work they're gonna do on the Dodge with the plowing. So,
Blue ink?
it doesn't have to be, no, this doesn't matter.
So there's a place for one customer signature and the date.
I think we all just cram all 3 of our signatures on it.
So-
I don't think they're really gonna care, but that way, you know, shows we're all in agreement. Okay, and then what I need to let them know on this one is the warranty options. We were gonna go for the lesser, the 7-year, 60,000 for 4,880 versus the 7-year, 75,000. Just because we think we want to keep these trucks for about 7 years before thinking about a trade-in or sell and get a new, and typically we'll never even reach that 60,000 miles. So that's the one I'm going to tell them to go for. So that's going to be on top of this, and our I already checked what we agreed to in the warrant article, so we're fine. We're more than covered there. Similar with the Western Star, was the one that Mike highly recommended, was the engine and associated chassis component, chassis and engine, for up to 100,000 for 4,325 above and beyond the 299,990. So I was going to say that was the one we should go for.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
You want us to sign the same place?
Yeah, just sign right below. Let's just cram it all in that one liner.
Can you stay between the legs?
If you can't fit it, put it anywhere on the paper.
Right between them?
This is for the plowing equipment.
I think I even stayed between the lines.
All right.
Nice job.
Yep. Okay. I think we're good. So I will get these off to Brian and Michael, and they will be happy campers. That's all I have for my commissioner's report. Go back to the agenda. The time is 11:15. We've gone over water. The next administrator's report. No administrator here. We'll go to old business tabled items, 2025 audit. Like I said, I'll start
Talked
calling,
about that, yep.
try and secure. Signature items, we have just some checks in the manifest to sign. Correspondence, nothing there that I see of. Was there anything? No, the Lugano thing was talked about, okay. Public appearance, anything, Bob? No?
Nothing?
Okay. Any non-agenda items anybody wants to bring up? All right, so at 11:16, I'll make a motion that we adjourn, or?
Should we go in, do we need a non-public session?
I think we do.
But
We
not
do?
discuss, not
Yes.
discuss any disciplinary?
Correct.
No. I agree. All right, so again,
I'll make a motion that we go into a non-public session for an employee issue.
Second.
aye.